So, in my introduction, I mentioned that I want to essentially challenge the way that I'm seen. I want to challenge what the status quo is for a woman 38 years old, three kids, one with developmental disability. And really, here's how all this started. So, I guess it was 4 years now. I was playing ice hockey and loved it. But there were some issues, and I ended up leaving what I was playing. And a coworker had just done Tough Mudder, and I looked at his videos and I said, I could probably do that. I just need to get my butt off the couch. So I started training, and I signed up, not for just one. I signed up for Warrior Dash, Tough Mudder Full, Spartan Hurricane Heat, and a Spartan Super, all essentially within about 4 to 4.5 months of each other. So I didn't just do the minimum. I jumped in head first and said, I hope this works. I'll never forget running Warrior Dash, and it was a 5K, and I thought I was going to die. I couldn't run half of it. My legs were shot. I just remember looking at some of these height obstacles going, there's no way. I hate heights. I was terrified of all of these things. And I met up with some teammates, and they basically kind of helped talk me through it. We finished. Then a couple months later, I did Tough Mudder. And I managed to not only get an ear squeeze that caused me to be insanely dizzy and not be able to hear out of one ear, I rolled my ankle right after we went through what's called Arctic Enema, which is the ice bath, and basically limped for 5-ish more miles. This starts looking like I'm insane for this stuff. Then Spartan comes up, and my first Spartan event outside of volunteering 2 days prior was a Hurricane Heat and then a Super the day before. And I remember meeting Mike James before this Hurricane Heat, and we were talking. He's like, hold on, this is your first Spartan event ever, is to do a Hurricane Heat? And I said, yeah. It's like, okay, it takes balls to do that. It's ridiculous. And I didn't understand that until I got halfway through that Hurricane Heat. That Hurricane Heat broke me. I was facing an A-frame cargo net that I don't like heights. We were racing. I was put as a team lead. I was in over my head like no one's business. I cried. I wanted to be done, but I wouldn't give up. So we get through that. We do the Super the next day. Meet up with some teammates, and we all just kind of laugh and enjoy it. And so that's how it all started. And now I'm looking at it. And if you had told me at the end of that Hurricane Heat that I'd be doing what I am now, I would have laughed. Every time, just everyone who knows me outside, just, it's like, what's the next thing you're going to do? Because I haven't stopped. I attempted the 12-hour Hurricane Heat last year and DNF'd. And to this day, that still kind of bugs me, but at least I did it the right way. But right before that, my intro to GoRuck was to do a tough and light. I had done GoRuck Santa, but I was told that really didn't count. So I go and do a tough and light back to back, because apparently I have bricks for brains, and I'm just going to jump in headfirst to everything. My coaches joke with me that I don't know how to take a break, and they're right. They're totally right. It's also, it's very telling that one of the coaches last week said, we're not worried about most athletes overtraining, but I am somebody they worry about overtraining. And when the coach told me that, first off, he used the word athlete, which I still laugh at, because if you're going to classify me as anything, I still would not classify myself as an athlete. It's just, that's not the prime thing in my life, even though it kind of is. But other than that, yeah, I admit overtraining is a big concern. I'm learning to recover better. I'm learning to sleep better. The nutrition side, holy crap, that's been major adjustment in the last, say, 4 months. But I say all this too, and I've developed a relationship with the coaching staff that I'm working with right now. Is, they'll casually mention that I should think about doing something, or maybe I could do something else, or, Barrett's famous last words of, you're going to be pushing 300 before the HTL, and I did it the next day. And then I pushed 414 about 3 weeks later, 4 weeks later, something like that. It's stuff like this. This is just where I'm at. I mean, the journey to get here has involved a fractured ankle, a surgically repaired ankle, lots of back and forth in doctors, lots of PT, and now I'm up to, Mondays I train 3 times a day, Tuesdays I train twice a day, Wednesdays I train only once, which I kind of still laugh at this idea. Thursdays twice a day, Fridays once, and then I try and get a long ruck in on the weekends as well. And manage 3 kids, and manage, seeing my husband sometimes, and work and everything else. But, that's kind of the other half of how I got here. And yeah, one of my big things right now is I want to challenge people. I don't typically, people tell me I don't look like I do all these things, and that's great, because I want to challenge the status quo. When somebody finds out that I do these things and they look at my size, I'm 5'4". I weigh between 138 and 140 pounds, 138, 39, something like that. I'm good with challenging this idea that somebody my size can do this. And honestly, I think it's fun. I like when people look at me and say, oh, there's no way you could do that. Because you have no idea. You have no idea what my drive and my determination is going to say, and where it's going to take me at this point. The other reason I'm willing to challenge that status quo is because, my daughters. I mean, point blank, screw what anybody thinks that you can do. Go and do what you want and figure it out. And if you fail, that's okay. But at least you tried, right? And I also work with a Girl Scout troop and Girl Scouts, and I'm the same way with those guys. Guys, I don't care if you fail, and I don't care that maybe you're not what society thinks that you should be at first. Challenge it. Don't be afraid. Because there will always be people that have your back. Sometimes it's hard to see, and sometimes it can be really daunting, and sometimes it feels like you're all alone. But that's the way it is. Okay, this got a little bit longer than I'd hoped, but I kind of wanted to give anyone reading kind of the background, how this all started. And right now, we are 40 days out from the biggest event series I've ever tackled, and kind of looking forward to it. See.